that hit that button, that's it.
Yeah. Will you calm down? You
I'm
have
fine.
no idea how excited Connor has been to go on a podcast, everybody.
This is my calling in life, okay?
Are you the biggest podcast fan in the whole world?
I tell you what, podcasts are probably my favourite content to consume at the moment, so...
Yeah, well, you
I'm
got
excited.
me into podcasts, Con.
The whole reason is because I knew you would invite me on as a guest, so this has been my plan the whole time.
Yeah. Wow. Let me get my cup of tea.
I've got my coffee,
Cheers.
iced because it's now spring. Cheers.
Mine's still hot because I'm just still that girl.
That's you through and through. Here's to growing and glowing.
Here's to growing and glowing together forever for the
Together
rest of our
forever,
life.
here we are.
Well, Connor Swift, welcome
Thank you.
onto Growing and Glowing, and welcome to you, the lovely person listening. Welcome back, guys, to your favourite ever podcast, Growing and Glowing, with me, your host, Mrs. Elle Swift. I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. This is our safe space to delve into all things life learnings there may be, from spirituality, self-love, motherhood, grief, friendship, relationships, the list goes on. I am here to be a friend to you through the very up and down journey of what growing and of course glowing can be when it comes to tuning into our higher selves. So welcome to our first ever guest, Mr. Connor Swift. How are you feeling today?
I'm fantastic, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a big honour being invited onto the show.
If you don't know who Connor Swift is, everybody, he is my husband,
Of almost a year.
boyfriend of,
Almost 9.
and baby daddy for,
Almost 2. Kids and 2 years.
yeah. Oh, I'm a bit like...
You're a little bit taken back, aren't you? I know, Els. It's not like you.
I tell you what, Con, we've not done anything like this together in terms of like sitting down and talking on camera or anything for a really long time. I don't think. We used to do it quite often, really, on my YouTube channel, didn't we?
Yeah, well, remember back in the day, Els, we used to film boyfriend chats,
Connor,
relationship chats.
We used to answer questions like, what's your favourite sex position and all that.
No, Els, we were never that couple, surely.
We were. Actually, I don't know
Not
about
on
sex
YouTube.
position. I don't know about sex position.
We're too PG for that.
Yeah, we are a bit too vanilla, aren't we, darling? But I thought it was about time, guys, that I finally invited someone onto the podcast. I thought you might have all had enough of me just talking to myself for over an hour, and I thought, who's the best person than the person who knows me the best in the whole entire world than to welcome on as our first ever guest. So big round of applause, please, everybody. I'm trying to clap, but I'm just going against my cup of tea here.
Thank you for having me.
And today, I thought it would be really interesting to get into relationships, because
Good
I feel
topic.
like we have a little bit of experience under our belt now, don't we, love?
I guess we do, Els, yeah. Best part of 10 years.
And I actually just want to say, do you know what? We're going to get into affirmation of the day in 1 second.
Oh, was I supposed to bring an affirmation of the day?
No, Con, you can
God.
chill out. You're actually just here as a guest, do you know that?
Okay,
So
I'll leave it all on you.
I
then.
will just tell you my affirmation. You have to just repeat it, okay?
Can I do one?
You can do one if you want, Con, but I don't know if I should have maybe had a look at it before you say it out loud.
Maybe we'll end on it then, so I have an hour to think of one.
Okay. But I just wanted to start off this episode by saying, before we really get into the deep of it,
Okay.
I am so lucky to have you.
I'm lucky to have you. We're lucky
No,
to have each other.
We are lucky to have each other, but I was just thinking in my planning of this episode and writing my notes and kind of getting together all my resources and things like that, I was thinking, what is it that people would really love to see from us for this podcast? Because honestly, I feel like you and I could sit down and do 50 episodes together on a huge variation of so many different things. Relationships, parenthood, friendship, like all of it. I feel just general life experience. I feel like we could have so many conversations. But when it comes to relationships, I was thinking, what do people really want to see and hear from us today? And it just really dawned on me how lucky I really am to have found you in life, honestly. At so young.
Exactly that. We are lucky to have found each other so young. What were you, 18?
18.
I was only 21.
We were literally like babies together.
Yeah, and we've done a lot together.
We've done a lot, and I don't want to give away too much too soon because we do still have to do our affirmation.
Oh, God. I'm waiting for that.
Do you want to do our affirmation?
Go on then.
Oh, okay. Well, a little bit more excitement would be...
Let's do it. I'm buzzing for this. What?
Bit more like, wow, yeah, affirmation of the day.
Yes, I can't wait for the affirmation.
Yeah, it's going to change your life.
My hand is already on my heart. I'm ready to say this.
Go on. Right, ready?
Okay.
Take a deep breath in. And relax. Release your shoulders. Just
Eyes
really
closed.
ground into this moment a minute.
Come on,
okay?
everyone. Everyone do this with us.
Everyone join in.
Hand on hearts.
Right, Con, repeat after me, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it slowly for you, okay?
Yeah, please do.
I
This
am...
would be like the vowels. Well, I got a little
You
bit.
did get a little
Yeah.
Right, Con, I'm actually going to say
Sorry.
it now, okay? Right, we're actually going to take another deep breath, okay? I am aligned with the energy of love.
I am aligned with the energy of love.
And I'm so grateful for the ever-flowing abundance of love.
Ellie, that's a long one. Let's do like 3 or 4 words at a time.
Okay, let me just say it and then you can.
Okay.
I'll repeat it for you in 3
Yeah.
words. Okay, I am aligned with the energy of love, and I am so grateful for the ever-flowing abundance of love available to me now. I am aligned with the energy of love.
I am aligned with the energy of love.
And I am so grateful.
And I am so grateful.
For the ever-flowing abundance of love.
For the ever-flowing abundance of love.
Available to me right now.
Available to me right now.
Good job. Does your life feel changed?
That hit different.
Don't you just think, when you think about what's available to you right now, your life can just really shift?
Perspective is everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
I 100% agree. And I was actually thinking about that earlier in the car.
What were you thinking?
Just, you know when you just are doing your day-to-day life and a moment just hits you and it almost takes you back a little bit and you could just sit there and be like, you know what? I'm actually quite lucky.
What was that moment?
To have you, to have Saint, just to have our relationship and family, you know?
Absolutely, my love. What was that? What triggered that for you today?
Downstairs, watching our son run around.
I know.
You know?
Well, listen, I'm lucky that I have you, all right? Now, that's enough PDA for the episode. Public display of affection. You thought it was PSA, didn't you? That's public service announcement. Can't get down with the slang. How are you going to be the cool dad when Saint's 15?
Ellie, I've come to realise I'm not the cool dad. All right, I'm going to be that goofy, nerdy dad that tries to get involved.
Can I just tell you guys something that just made me laugh so much last night? Sometimes, I don't know if you guys ever do, this is probably a very relatable thing, but do you ever, if you're in a relationship, do you ever, like, when you're on TikTok, you like TikToks, and then you're like, oh, me and my said partner are going to do a big TikTok
like it for the other
later.
person, yeah.
And then, like, you show them. Connor liked this one that was, like, the top 10 ever Disney Channel songs. And when it got to, like, it was counting down from number 10 to number 1, it had, like, you know, Camp Rock,
Breaking
High School
Free,
Musical, blah, blah, blah on it. Cheetah Girls, bit of pop went on there. But when it got to, like, number 7 or 6, he was like, what do you think number 1 is? Go on, I'll test you. And I was like, oh, it's got to be Lizzie McGuire.
Got to be.
And it was Lizzie McGuire, but that was completely besides the point. That wasn't the point of the story that I wanted to tell.
The point of the story was
number 2. They put Breaking Free on as number 2.
Breaking Free was number 10, Ellie, okay?
No, was it?
Yeah, it was. Number 2 was...
You Are the Music and Me.
Exactly.
And I said to Colin after we finished watching TikTok, he was like, do you agree with all of that then? Because Mrs. Disney Queen. And I was like, actually, I would disagree with You Are the Music and Me. because I would actually put there, and I was like, oh, what song is it? It's like Gabriella and Troy are on the top of a rooftop and they're dancing, and Connor was like, oh, my baby brain's forgotten the name of the song again,
Can I have this dance?
Yeah, Con was like, what do you mean, can I have this dance? I was like, that is literally
That's exactly right.
why I married you, my love. And we just kind of had a moment as, darling, it doesn't matter if you're not the cool dad, okay?
It doesn't bother me.
No, yeah,
I'll come to terms with it.
Good. At the ripe old age of a 20-month son.
As long as Saint thinks I'm cool.
Oh, we all think
It's the
you're
main
cool. Jumping around, singing your High School Musical.
All right, Els, it's not an episode of exposing me, okay?
We're not going to air the dirty laundry. But, yeah, if you guys don't know much about our relationship and you haven't really been following our journey on YouTube, which actually, if you know me at all from YouTube, then you probably will know who Connor is, because we have shared a lot of our relationship and a lot of our life together on there.
Well, you started YouTube
Months after we got together.
the first year we got together.
Yeah.
So our whole relationship has been on the line.
Yeah. But we have been through many stages in our relationship, haven't we?
Yeah, should we round them up?
Yeah, go on then.
So we started
So it starts off
dating.
2014.
Are we going to tell the actual story? I mean, we might as well. We're here now, right?
Yeah, come on.
So, long story short, guys, one of my best friends went on a night out.
Make sure this
This
is
is how we met.
Make sure this is a long story short, because it always ends up being a long story. Okay?
This is super.
Not in a
30-second
nutshell.
cap.
Go.
One of my best mates went on a night out. Saw Ellie. Did you speak to him?
No, Connor, we were actually Facebook friends for years.
Facebook friends for 4 years. Sorry,
So
forgot about that
completely
bit.
started off the
And he showed me a picture of her after the night. I said, I bumped into this girl last night. Look how beautiful she is. And I was like, she's so gorgeous. I couldn't agree more with you.
So
Look at those piercing eyes.
gorgeous.
So
He said, I want my future son to have those eyes.
exactly. So I threw you a friend request on Facebook.
It
tried
was
to
ignored.
chat. Didn't work out for me. Think I then moved over to Instagram.
Something must have happened on Instagram.
Tried it on there. Didn't work.
Yeah,
but you followed me back.
Yeah, I would have followed you. That was it.
And then Connor Swift uploaded a topless selfie in the gym. And no, really, yeah. And from that point onwards, I got a response. And it was almost like, ha, I completely forgot to message you. Sorry about that.
It was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know who you were. And then I just saw this sexy pic of you in the gym and thought, actually, you're a bit of me, hun. But at the time, Connor and I got together, I was not looking for a relationship. Were you looking for a relationship? You were, Con. Come on, don't even pretend as if you need to think about it.
It wasn't like I was looking for a... Look, let's get right down deep, okay?
Go on then. You were a 21-year-old bloke, never had a girlfriend, you wanted a girlfriend.
I always wanted love, and I always knew that. So I wasn't actively looking for a relationship, but I knew where I wanted my life to go.
Waiting for the right person, I think, is
Exactly.
maybe a fair way to put it. Because Connor was 21 when we got together, I was 18. Connor had never really had you'd never had a serious relationship?
Never. Longest relationship would have probably been like a month or two in
Year 7.
In like high school, yeah. So it's those sort of relationships. You go out for the summer.
Yeah.
You don't really see each other.
Do a few MSNs.
Few MSNs.
Put each other in the bio.
In your name. Classic.
But me, on the other hand, I really actually was not actively looking for a relationship at all, and I didn't really want one, to be honest with you. I had come out of a 2-year relationship from the age of 16 to 18, and I'd had a fair few months of living my best life being a single teenage girl, and I was really enjoying some freedom that came with, the novelty of having a brand new driver's license. And
whoa,
it was like, I just finished 6th form, and it was like such a cool time in my life. I had plans to go to Glastonbury with my mates. I was going to go interrailing across Europe with my other friends.
Hot girl summer was in.
Oh, she was in full swing. But of course, as we know over here on Growing and Glowing, the universe always has a bigger plan for you. And
that was me.
That was Connor. And I thank God, honestly. I thank God, because I think the universe knew exactly what was happening. It knew that you needed to be in my life at that point.
We needed each other.
Do you reckon? I think I needed you more than you needed me, in all honesty.
I disagree. We needed each other. Because without you, I wouldn't have become the person I was destined to be.
Well, I agree with that, my love. But I think, like, coming from a place where I just didn't want a relationship, the universe was like, no. Like, you actually need to be with this guy now. And it was almost like pushing it to the last bit of timing that it possibly could have been for things to have worked out and been right. Because about 3 months after we got together, my mum was then diagnosed with her brain tumour. And ever since then, life was on a bit of a roller coaster for me personally. And Connor's life path number is actually a number 4. Now, if you know what your life path numbers are, it's basically based off of your birth date.
Is it just your birth date?
It's just your birthday.
How are mine and Saint's numbers the same if we have different birthdays?
Because it's the numerology within your birthday. So say, for example...
So what, all the numbers, like 361993,
yeah,
added together?
they all add up to a certain number, which then you add
mine and
those two
Saint's
numbers
adds up together to the same number?
To the same number of number 4, yeah. And the person with the life... yeah, that's so cute. Lucky you, matching life part.
Unlucky.
Jealous. Maybe baby number 2 will match me.
Maybe.
Otherwise, I'm going to have FOMO with life path numbers.
Might be
Everyone's going to have a buddy. Anyway, the kind of like defining aspects of a life path number 4 is stability, dependability, security, trust, and honestly, that is exactly what Connor has been for me, and that is what our entire relationship has been for me. And I think we are so very different as individuals, but we complement each other to all the right degrees. And we're really going to get into it with relationships today, guys, but I just want to say, you always hear there's no such thing as a perfect relationship, the perfect marriage doesn't exist, blah blah blah. And while I completely agree with that saying in so many different senses, I think if you take it literally, yes, of course,
like the perfect,
where there's no arguments or anything and it's all blissful, like of course that doesn't exist because you're on a human experience of life journey together, but
it's perfect for us.
How did you know I was going to say that? Have you been reading from my podcast notes, Con?
Just perfect, aren't we? Obviously.
I honestly believe every relationship is perfect for the individuals in their own way, whether it's the lessons they need to learn from that relationship or the destiny that is to be fulfilled through that relationship.
But that's also just like your perspective on life, that everything happens for a reason.
It is, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Is that your perspective in life as well?
Everything happens for a reason?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be
like, don't be influenced by your wife,
not in the romantic Disney fairy tale way that everything happens for a reason, but more in the sense that...
Can I answer what I think you're going to say and then you tell me if it's right?
Is this the game I'm playing now? Yeah, go on.
You don't necessarily think that everything happens for a reason, but you think there's always a lesson to be learned.
Yeah. It's like you have to make the most of the situation you're in, your cards you've been dealt.
Yeah.
Regardless if that's good or bad, you just... If you have the right perspective on it, it's either...
Then there's a reason for it to have happened.
There's a lesson there.
Yeah.
Which is always a good thing.
Should we get back to our relationship story?
Yeah, so we only got 3 months into our relationship.
Yeah,
we still have 9 years to go over.
9 years to go over. In a nutshell, guys, we... can't even really remember what happened from there, Con. We grew up, basically, didn't we?
Yeah, pretty much. 9 years later, here we are.
Yeah.
So, are we going to go into detail?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just take the lead on this one.
Yeah, go on.
So, I had just finished uni when we met.
Making your way into the corporate world.
Into the corporate world. I just had a standard post-grad sales job. Ellie just started university. And we were just getting on through life, weren't we, for the first sort of 6 months. And then that's when you found YouTube.
Finding YouTube, I think, changed both of our courses of life dramatically from that very point. It was from that point, when you think about it, I decided to drop out of university, not for YouTube, but because YouTube showed me I had other passions than my degree. My degree was drama and acting. And
although you still like to think that
absolutely.
one day you're going to be in a blockbuster.
Or the West End, babe. You can come see me. I'll be Cinderella in the pantomime one day.
Yeah, you can sing. I'll give you that, Els.
Thank you. Do you actually think I can sing, Con?
When you try.
Thank you. Wow. That's like my compliment of the day.
That's my dream, to be able to sing, by the way.
That might be my glowing moment of the day. We lived with your parents for a couple of years. We were kind of still finding our feet within jobs and whatever else. I was a personal trainer. You would still...
Went into a different sales role,
yeah. And then we started seeing success from YouTube, and we were able to get a place of our own in a rented flat.
Yeah, so that's when we sort of decided to take this whole content creation career seriously, wasn't it, really?
I agree.
Beforehand it was just sort of...
But I still look back and think we were very, very young. We had a lot of maturing to do. A lot of our life experience hadn't really been done. We were kind of just still like two young people just in a young relationship. A few years after that, we're able to get a mortgage and buy our own house, and we got a dog, and like responsibility started to form, and then here we are. Well, no, not here we are, because a lot more still happened.
Yeah, come on.
I missed out quite a big chunk at the end there, but I think the last like third of our relationship has been the one with the biggest life lessons. And I feel like when I think about our growth as individuals through our relationship, I'd say the most has happened in the last few years.
I would agree with you on that one, Ellie.
I think when two people first get together, there's a lot of emphasis on this idea of how it goes at the start to last forever. And I think something that people don't consider is the fact that if you're actually going to be with someone for the rest of your life, you have to be able to work and adapt to the new versions of the person that you originally fell in love with blossoming into.
Yeah, I mean, people change as well. I don't think about how much we've changed over the years.
I know. I don't know. I personally just find myself, for the first time in my life, maybe it's because of all of like the self work I've done in the last 2 years, but I'm really finding myself at a point in life now where I'm able to look back and reflect a lot more on the person I have been at different stages in my life. And maybe that just comes with getting older and having more life experience. But I look back at like the last 9 years of our relationship, and I think both of us have been such different versions of ourselves.
Yeah.
While still remaining to be in a really united, respectable relationship and friendship with each other. And I think that is what a relationship is all about.
Yeah, it's about both of you, both parties thriving and growing within the relationship. You don't want to just... You're never going to stay the same people, are you? So it's just about supporting each other through that. What would you say is the attribute you've grown the most?
Funny question, because I was going to ask you this actually a bit later on.
Were you?
I think I have just really connected to my spiritual side recently. I think that's the attribute that is like shaping me the most right now, is really connecting to that side of myself, which has always been there. I mean, you know that, like ever since we first got together, I've always been into it, but I'm really making it more of like a life practice at the moment.
To actually follow that passion.
Yeah, like maybe motherhood has triggered that in me. I don't know. But for me, I have a real like passion in the deeper things in life at the moment, the deeper meaning to things and why we're here. And I feel like that is really shaping me so heavily at the moment. What do you think your attribute is that's grown the most?
I probably would say confidence.
Yeah.
And self-belief. It's been the biggest attribute over the last... Because if you look back when we first got together, I wasn't that confident, was I?
I think confidence is like one of your life lessons.
It's a strange confidence as well, because I feel like inward confidence, I have it in abundance. Like, if you say, like, God, I would back myself in most scenarios.
Yeah,
in
you
most
would.
things.
Yeah.
But like outward confidence, like speaking to people,
Yeah.
public speaking and stuff like that is where I lack confidence.
Yeah.
And that's probably the one thing that's grown the most in the last 9 years, mainly because of how much confidence you have in that sense, and seeing you smash it every day.
So one of the most popular questions I'm asked about our relationship is, you guys never seem like you have any arguments, you guys seem like you don't ever bicker, blah blah blah. Now, I did say this was going to be a tell-all podcast.
Oh, okay.
Episode. Because here on Growing and Glowing, we do talk about the deeper things. While I consider myself very lucky to have the relationship that we do, because it is the honest truth that we have had almost 9 years of being together, we have had very, 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 very few instances where either of us have thought, this isn't a relationship for me anymore. And I thought that's quite rare in 9 years. Like the changes you go through as people, you know.
Yeah.
But there's been once or twice where we feel like we've come to a crossroads, and I want to talk about those today because I actually feel like they were really pivotal moments of our relationship, and I actually feel like they're really common as well in long-term relationships.
Okay.
Whenever I think about all of the other long-term relationship examples I've been shown in my life, whether it's parents, the relationships of my siblings, my friends, if you've been with someone for years and years and years, it's not uncommon to get to a point where you do stop there and think, is this still the relationship I want? And how many years would we have been together when that one happened for us?
5 years?
I want to say 5 years. And actually that came from you. So do you want to just explain? No hard feelings, by the way, guys. What was going through your mind at that point?
I think it was just the situation where it's like, right, if we we're going to be staying together forever, if we're committing to this, it got to that point in a relationship where like we were talking about kids, getting a house, etc. And I think I just got a bit scared.
Nothing even happened in particular. Like, it's not like we had a huge row. It's not like I cheated on you or like we'd been forced to look in the mirror at our relationship and decide if it's something we wanted to carry on with or not. It was just like, I don't know, maybe we were looking into our first mortgage, and it was like, you know, signing contracts with each other. It would not getting married, but like signing big life contracts with each other, and really being in a position where for the first time ever in both of our life, it was like, is this actually the person I really want to do this with? And I think a huge element of that was really scary because we were having to ask ourselves those questions almost like in secret because you didn't want to hurt the other person's feelings. But at the same time, wondering if something's wrong because you are having those feelings, when in actuality, I think it's a pretty common way to feel when you do get to that point in a relationship where it's not the honeymoon phase anymore. You're not at the start of the relationship, and it becomes a lot more about, do I agree with this person's values? Do I like the person they're becoming? Is this the person I want to share forever with? And yeah, Connor just sat me down one day and basically voiced those opinions. And I think it was really hard because it was almost like, where do I stand then? Because it wasn't like we were breaking up, and actually, even though I think we had it was something stupid, like literally the afternoon apart.
Yeah.
But not as in broken up, but just like out of each other's space. But you always knew that you didn't actually, I feel like you knew you didn't actually want to break up in that point.
And I didn't want to break up. Like I said, I just got scared, and by being scared to speak about it as well, you just get in your own head about the situation, and not being able to speak to the one person you want to speak to about it, you sort of you panic.
It's reminding me a little bit of when people are like, they say they get cold feet before they're about to get married.
Yeah.
It was a bit like that situation, wasn't it?
And I think that's a good reason why we're talking about it, because I feel like it's important that your like couples can chat about stuff, and
Completely
it's not
agree.
Oh, if I say this now, that's it.
Yeah.
We're going to break up. And
Yeah.
like you should be able to chat through how you're feeling in every scenario, because
totally,
that's how you get to 9 years down into a relationship. You talk about stuff and you communicate. Communication's the most important thing.
And I think that was the first time, even though we've been together for about 5 years already at that point, I think that was the first time ever where both of us were like, oh, this is what communication is. Like, this is what people actually say about talking to each other about
Feelings.
even the scary feelings and the bigger ones. And because they were coming from you, and although I've been always so like open with my emotions, that's something that's come harder to you. Not even in terms of speaking about it, but I think also just in terms of like navigating how you feel in your own mind is something that doesn't come particularly natural to you.
No, yeah, I agree. Like, yeah, I have to sometimes sit there for a while and try and embrace the emotions I'm feeling to actually get to them.
But I think having that conversation at that point in our relationship allowed us to go forward to the point where another 3 years down the line, when we were to get married, we didn't have any of those feelings.
Yeah, exactly. It just put us both on the same path.
And like I said, I think it's a very normal thing in a long-term relationship. Every
relationship's had that chat.
There are always points, whether it concludes to that kind of chat or not, where you do sit there and you're like, is this happiness? Is this the person I want to be with? Do I still have the same faith and love in them I had?
I think it's healthy as well. It's healthy to have those thoughts with yourself and conversations with your partner, because without doing that, you are just sort of in this just realm of just going through life. Do you know what I mean? And
you're not actually acknowledging yourself. It's almost like people pleasing for the relationship.
So if you're listening to this in your own relationship, go have a chat with your partner tonight. Tell them you love them.
Yeah, if you do.
If you do. And if you don't, have a chat, because they'll need to hear that as well.
Yeah. Today, you and I are so the best we've ever been at being able to communicate our thoughts with each other. Even when it comes to like having a small bicker over a throwaway comment.
Our small bickers now end up in like a psychology,
deep chat,
therapy.
Yeah, it's like who forgot to put the bins out on bin day? I don't know. And then it's like, okay, I understand you feel like that about that this is how I feel and this is what happens. Like, that's the point that our conflict has got to. But I'm really proud of us that we've got to that point, because that's the kind of, if there's ever going to be conflict that our children see, that's the kind of conflict.
Constructive one.
Yeah, I want it to be a constructive and healthy way, instead of ways that I think a lot of people our age were raised with, which was just not healthy ways to deal with things, because life does happen. And the thing is, when you are with someone 24/7 like we are, or even just being married to someone and raising children with somebody, you are still two individuals on your own separate paths in life. You're never going to get on 100% all of the time.
Although we can be so similar, our perception of life is only true to ourselves.
Yeah.
And being able to communicate that to someone else is important.
And takes practice.
So they can understand where you're coming from and why you're feeling the way you are, why you're acting the way you are.
And I think self-awareness is such a huge aspect of that. I know I feel like I literally sound like a broken record on the podcast, because every aspect that I ever talk about always comes down to, if you want to end up ultimately having the best out of it, it always comes down, in my belief, to being self-aware.
Yeah.
Like, exactly the same as what I say about being a parent. When your child does something to trigger a deep emotion in you, and it makes you feel really annoyed at them or snappy, or you can feel yourself raising your voice, it's exactly the same in a relationship. If you are getting triggered by your relationship, a lot of the time it's so much less about the other person and so much more about what is going on with you.
And I actually listened to your podcast when you
because Con actually does listen to every episode.
when you say that, so when sweet. You use that term and apply it to saint, I've noticed, like, if I'm getting annoyed or something upsets me, I've recently taken a step back and like, why is that annoying me?
Yeah.
I'm running late.
Yeah.
Or, do you know what I mean? Something like that.
Exactly. And
so no, thanks for that, Els.
Oh, you're welcome. There's a lot more knowledge where that came from than your old wife over here. But I just think there's so much knowledge in having that self-awareness. And I think the key to a successful relationship and holding one down for years and years and building a life with somebody is the fact that you really, even though it would be unpleasant to break up and be on your own, I think if you're going to be the best partner you're ever going to be, you have to be in a place in life where you would be just as stable and okay mentally, spiritually, psychologically on your own as the same as you are with that person. I think when it comes to the basics of like feeling good about yourself and recognizing that your own happiness is your job, like you should come to a relationship as the happy individual, and if you're not the happy individual, it's your job to go away and do the work.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can't be dependent on the other person to make you happy.
Yeah, and to give you what you want, because ultimately it's your responsibility and nobody else's, not even the person you've been married to for 30 years. If you're feeling sad, obviously a bunch of flowers is a lovely gesture, but you can't pin your happiness and self-worth on that.
Yeah.
You always need to be as okay as you would be with them and what you think they can serve for you on your own. I just think that's really important. We see so many young people like struggling to get into relationships nowadays. I think we're so lucky that we found each other at the point we did, because I don't know about you, Con, but if I think about the fact that we ever broke up, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, seeing people on dates, I'm like, thinking like I couldn't do that.
No, neither could I.
I couldn't just go to TGI's with a randomer that I met on Tinder.
I know, it's like,
it's hard to say because we've been out of the game for so long.
I know.
But yeah, I just feel people get into relationships, like you said, just because they think it's the right thing to do. Like
they're scared of being alone.
Yeah.
And if you're scared of being alone, you know that that's when you have the most work to do.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been scared to be alone.
And I really think another reason why it takes people so long to like fall into relationships and find love at the moment is because everybody is expecting just perfection.
Everyone sees Instagram.
You hold out for the perfect partner. Mm-hmm. Nobody ever sits you down and teaches you what it is to be in a relationship until you're actually going through one. Your parents don't sit you down and they're like, this is how you love somebody.
Yeah.
This is how you are a romantic partner to somebody. This is how you show up to your said partner when you've been married to them for 10 years. Mm-hmm. You don't have that. Nobody has that. It's a learning on the job kind of thing. The only example we are fed is our parents' relationship and ideas that we see on movies, of rom-coms growing up, or we hear
I do love a rom-com.
You do love a rom-com. And I actually, do you know what, Con? When I was thinking about this, I thought, I wonder if that's why it took you until you were 21 to have your first proper relationship, because you love rom-coms so much. Were you maybe waiting for the perfect thing to come along?
Yeah, trust me, I could have had a few relationships.
Oh, Connor!
But I knew they weren't the one. I wanted what I saw in the rom-coms, Han.
You cheeky man.
I got it.
Yeah, okay, you got it, Con, but that completely goes against my point that I'm trying to make.
What's that?
That more often than not, you don't get that.
Yeah, but...
No, Con,
it's our version of it. Els, come on, our life isn't a rom-com, is it? We got a dog downstairs that eats food off the counter.
That actually is part of the rom-com, you know.
To be fair, there's always a little naughty dog, to be fair.
But that's what I'm saying. People think there is such thing as what they see in the rom-coms. Love and being in a relationship takes practice, takes nurturing.
Preach it.
Takes patience. It takes getting to know the new version of your partner through every life experience you go through, and still choosing them time and time again if that's the relationship that you want to have. I think as well there's different definitions of love as you get older and you go through that relationship. Like if I think back to when we first got together, someone asked me, are you in love with him? It would be like, yeah, I'm in love with him. I fancy him so much. And he's like... He's so...
Have you seen his body on Instagram?
Oh, Connor.
No, I agree though. I would say every chapter of our life has a different type of love.
Yeah. Where it's like now, are you in love with him? Yes, he is the father I had always hoped my children would have. Yes, he constantly has shown me how he is prepared to show up for me in this life. We've been through time and time again where he could have abandoned me and deserted me, and he's chosen to stay right by my side, and that is what I choose to be love at this part in my life. So I think that's where people go wrong, is when they're 5 years deep and they have that chat.
They're chasing that love from the start. And it's like, you're not at that point anymore. Chances are, if you hold that mentality, it's not the person you're with that is the problem. It's in you. It's in her. And you're going to find yourself in that same situation time and time again. And you could have missed out on the one. You could have missed out on the rom-com ending.
Okay, I'm going to ask you another quick fire question. Okay, this has to be really quick fire, Con. Okay, top 3 things that come to your mind. How do you sustain a long-term relationship? Go.
Work on the relationship. Work on yourself. And don't lose yourself.
Fatherhood. An element of life that many men in long-term relationships might choose to enter, the fatherhood era. As a father yourself of almost 2 beautiful baby boys, how did you know you were ready for children?
I always knew I wanted children, and I think it just came to a point in our relationship where becoming parents was the next step for us. Bringing a child into the world made sense. You know, we were financially stable, we were engaged, we had a house, and we were toying with the idea for a little while before we decided, and the more and more we spoke about it, the more and more it felt right.
Do you think there's such thing as perfect timing to have a child? Because I feel like that is what holds a lot of people back. I think they put this expectation of, when we are this, when we are that, then we're going to have a baby, instead of actually playing with the idea of...
I think a lot of people can just sit on the idea and wait for the perfect time, whereas I'm not too sure there is the perfect time. I feel like there's always going to be something. There's always going to be a holiday that you're waiting to go on, or the house that you're waiting to buy, or the amount of financially stable you're going to be, like the amount of money in your bank account. But as long as both mum and dad are happy, I feel that is a good enough time than any.
I think,
and trust me, it's going to be worth it.
Yeah. I think if it feels fun, if it feels like, oh, that there could be a little bit of excitement in that, there could be a little bit of love and joy in that decision, then I think that's as ready as you're going to feel until you hold the baby in your arms.
I feel like if you talk about it, you'll get a vibe of
the energy around that situation. And how do you think having children has impacted our relationship? Because that's another thing that holds people back from choosing to have children, is they're worried about the impact it has on their relationship.
Our relationship has changed, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I would say we are the best we've ever been.
I don't think we have laughed in as many consecutive days as we have together since we've had Saint.
Yeah.
Like,
King Bop is our joy.
He is our joy. And I know that can sound like a really alien prospect to you if you don't have children, and it's like, I don't want someone else to become the joy in my relationship. I don't want that third element. I just want it to be us, and like, surely there's nothing wrong with it just being that. And there's not, but I just think exploring parenthood with the person you've chosen to do life with opens up so many new...
There's no better thing in the world, guys. Like, honest.
Beautiful doors to
relationship. Listen in now. Listen to me, okay?
Okay.
Before we had kids, I always knew I wanted to have kids.
Yeah.
I always knew
Me too.
I was born to be a dad. But now I'm actually living it. The best thing and the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
So if you're on the fence, don't worry. It's going to be worth it. Pull up your socks and jump in. Buckle up, because it's a ride.
Do you think it's negatively impacted our relationship at all?
No, I wouldn't say negatively. Obviously, there are parts of our relationship which aren't
how they were
thriving like they used to be, for example.
We're not
going on date nights, we're not going to the cinema every
we're not
other
talking
weekends.
about our sex life, by the way, everybody.
We're not going to the cinema every week.
It's so funny. I know that's exactly where people's minds will go to. There are things in our relationship that aren't thriving as much anymore now that we have kids. But yeah, I think, but that like time going to the cinema or on date nights or whatever, like even more joy
when we get to do it now.
When we do, well, no, but even
and we
like,
cherish those moments.
We do cherish those moments, but also I obviously can't speak for you, but I find just as much, if not more, joy taking Saint
to the park,
instead of what we would have spent the time as like going on a date to a restaurant.
No, exactly. That's why our relationship hasn't negatively been affected. It's changed.
He just brings all the love to our life, doesn't he, Con?
Can't wait for number 2.
I know. And finally, last question for you.
Let's hear it.
We've already briefly touched on it today, but did getting married change anything for you?
Before we got married, I would have said nah. Like, all it is
piece of paper,
an incredible day and night with our friends and family, which is all about just celebrating. But I won't lie to you, Ellie, when I woke up the day after, it did feel a little bit different having that,
didn't it?
Little platinum band on my finger.
I know.
And it's nice. I mean, it's nice knowing that 9 years on, we can still love each other a little bit more, I guess.
Yeah. And
have different, again, like a new chapter.
Yeah.
Another new experience.
Completely agree. I genuinely, I really didn't think it would do anything in terms of how it made me feel about our relationship.
Especially we got married twice.
No, right, listen to me, guys. We didn't get married twice. Sometimes Connor just says things, okay?
We got married twice.
We had to have our UK ceremony because we were choosing to get married in Ibiza. And then we had our actual wedding day in Ibiza. Look at Connor, he's like, yeah, so we got married twice.
Did you say I do twice or not? Yes.
Yes, okay, you do say that twice. But yeah, I was so happy and already so content in our relationship. It was, again, one of those moments where you think, how could we ever get any closer? Mm-hmm. How could our life possibly change at all just from calling each other husband and wife? But I don't know, it's just something really magical about it, and just like having that extra level of commitment to each other and to the relationship that you're choosing to show up to every single day. Like, calling myself someone's wife now is so fun.
Ellie Swift.
And so cool.
Husband.
It's like, yeah, my husband rang earlier. Yeah, just thankful for you. Thankful for our relationship.
Thankful for us.
Thankful for our kids and our marriage. My wish for everybody is that they find love like what we have, because I think it's a beautiful journey to be on together in this life with you by my side.
Couldn't agree more.
And actually, on that note, I have a little poem. You know, I like sometimes my poems.
I tell you what, your last poem hit me hard.
Which one?
Hit me in the feels. About the baby that was always watching.
Oh, Connor is so emotional, guys, since becoming since becoming a dad, aren't you?
Oh, I do get a little bit emotional now and again.
But I have a poem. It's called "I Hope You Find Someone," and I feel like this has been a really.
This is a poem for me.
No, Con. It's not for you.
Okay.
Okay, this is for the listener. Okay, who's come for relationship advice today. Okay. It's called "I Hope You Find Someone," and I feel like this is a really good way to sum up everything we've spoken about today. I hope you find someone who ticks every item on your list. Someone who matches up to the magical visions you hold in your mind. I really, truly hope you find someone who is worthy of you in every way and sees you, all of you, just as you are, and wouldn't have it any other way for all the gold in the world. I hope you find someone like this, my friend, but most of all, I hope you find all of the above within yourself first. It makes it easier, you see, like laying the pathway or coding the format. Love yourself the way you want to be loved. The rest just falls into place.
Oof. Love that.
Love it. Brilliant book, by the way, guys. It's a book called I Wish I Knew, from an author called Donna Ashworth. It's poems to soothe your soul and strengthen your spirit. And I love it. There's lots and lots of little golden nuggets of knowledge like that. In
Love
that
yourself, guys. And everything else will fall into place.
Tell him, Con. Okay, Mr. Growing and Glowing, what are your growing and glowing moments of the week?
How long we got?
Literally 2 minutes.
Okay, so my growing moment of the week is the fact I'm here with you today, sat on this podcast. Feel like it's a big step for me being on here, doing a long forum content like this. I know we mentioned earlier about my confidence. It takes a lot for me to do stuff like this, so...
Well done, I'm proud of you.
Here we are. And my glowing moment of the week, teaching Saint how to score a penalty outside. We got a little goal set up for him, a little inflatable ball. And he loves just kicking the ball about. And we love celebrating with each other, don't we?
Yeah. He always looks to Connor whenever he scored a goal. I say scored a goal, he literally kicks the ball.
Kicks it in the goal.
He does. It might be from 1 foot away from the goal,
Still
but he
goes
still kicks
in.
it in
They
the
all
goal.
count.
And he looks around to Connor and he holds his arms up and he's like, because he's so used to Connor like picking him up and making a big song and dance of whenever Connor scores the goal. Yeah, that's a lovely moment. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Husband.
It's been a pleasure. I hope everyone enjoyed listening to me for the last hour.
I hope that relationship podcast served you in some way, guys. But for now, we are going to love and leave you. I want you to go ahead and have a wonderful rest of your week. I love you so much. Thank you once again to my wonderful guest for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Love you guys loads, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.